So we're going to talk about Copilot Studio, which is a no-code agentic AI. Let's just quickly talk about us. We are Think AI. We are data and AI solution partners with Microsoft. We are premium partner, about 1,000 and half a million partners across the globe. We are pretty proud of that. We've been nominated INC 5000 awardee for last 2 years. These are our core services: artificial intelligence, business intelligence, modern technologies, and technology roadmaps. This is me. I'm the founder and CEO of Think AI. Recently, I got selected for Forbes Technology Council. I've been author, speaker, and data and AI strategist all my life. 30 years to be accurate on that. Published a book on real-time business intelligence and publishing two more books recently. I grew up as a dyslexic kid, so I have a startup with my friend Vinay on readon.ai. I also hold a patent on neuroscience disease using AI, and we work with a number of organizations, as you can see. This is Pranav. Pranav, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay, so hi, I am Pranav. I'm a cloud solution architect and data and AI specialist. I am 3 times Microsoft certified, and I am a analytics and automation enthusiast. So I've worked around Power Platform and SharePoint and those kinds of things. And I am also a Six Sigma Green Belt. And some of the Microsoft ideologies also come across Six Sigma. So that helped me a lot, and I've served more than 20 happy clients, and I have saved around $500,000 in revenue by optimizing their data operations.
Thank you, Pranav.
Yeah.
So let's jump into the topic. Before we jump in there, I thought we'll do a little bit of education on AI, agentic AI, and AI automation. How that sounds. Let me go in. So, what's the AI automation landscape? In general, there are three different buckets on how you can code today. I want to give a disclaimer. This is intended little bit towards people who does not know coding. At the same time, if you know coding, you would learn how to do a no code solution using Microsoft Word, which is Copilot Studio. So from coming from that aspect, there are three ways you can create these solutions. One is no code, second is low code, and third is high code, which you probably already may know. In Microsoft World, that translates into a Copilot Studio, AI Foundry, previously named as Azure AI, and Azure Open AI. Copilot Studio will let you do a lot of things without having to know nothing about coding, but you do need to know a little bit about prompting, like ChatGPT. AI Foundry is a mix of writing some part of code if needed, or you can plug and play their templates. Next session, we're going to do on AI Foundry, by the way, and Azure OpenAI, where you can actually use OpenAI APIs and SDKs and build your own Azure web apps. Now, building a no-code solution, it's quick. You can literally deploy something within an hour or even less. So your development time is really low. With a low-code solution, since there are templates, it could be medium on an average. You could do it like within a week. If you are going towards writing the code on your own, it could probably take a few months to deploy and develop your solution. Obviously, you have a better control when you are on high code side, and you have a lesser control and less flexibility. And Pranav will talk about it when you do a no code solution using something like Copilot Studio. So it's great for non-tech users, for business users, power users. Same thing for low code, but high code is really intended for tech users. Moving on, what is agentic AI? There's a lot of buzz around it. We try to simplify it with these four things. So one, it is a proactive assistance, which means you can hire your own assistant. An example is if you are building a project team, you can hire these project coordinators or project assistants, which can help different aspects of your project. It can have its own sophisticated reasoning. So based on what the outcome is, it can make decisions based on how you have fed your um, prompts into it. It can autonomously on its own solve complex problems, which is the coolest feature out there, in multi-step problems using multi-models. And it can have its own memory. So if something we have taught it to remember, it will remember, or it will consume your organization's profile, your own profile, and make use of it. How does agentic AI works? So a user sends a request like a query in a chat bot or an email or an SMS or even a audio or video talk. An AI agent will take that request, dispatch it. When it will dispatch it, oh, I have an issue here. When it will dispatch it, uh, it will first go into its perception model where it will do multi-model fusion, whether it's camera, text, audio, or sensors. This cognition is supposed to be here. So it has its own cognition where it can have its own memory. So you must have gone to ChatGPT and must have seen that with you correct ChatGPT on certain things or train ChatGPT on certain things, it will remember. So it has memory. Same thing for Copilot Studio. It has memory. Agentic AI, it should have memory. You can feed knowledge base. There's a topic called rag out of scope on this one, but you can have knowledge base, your own databases, and query in a natural language format. It can have its own decision making. And lastly, it can take physical actions in real world and monitor what's happening. And based on that feedback, it can improve upon it. So that's the agentic AI. I'm just gonna check really quick if everything is working fine. I think so. Please text us on LinkedIn if you are having any issues. Talking about Microsoft no code versus low code solutions. So, no code is Copilot Studio, and low code is AI Foundry. Typically, Copilot Studio is for business users, for IT admins, building like an HR assistant or a support agent, which is what we're gonna demo today, or your project assistant. You can name an email helper, another good example, a marketing assistant, a sales op assistant. So you can build variety of things, and we would love to connect with you if you have an example in mind. AI Foundry, where you can do more extensive work where you run into limitations of Copilot Studio and do a little bit of coding work in there using Python or C Sharp or any other language of your choice. It's good for data scientists and AI developers, to say the least. Complexity, obviously, simple on Copilot and a little bit complex on AI Foundry. Copilot Studio lives within Microsoft 365 environment, so it's really easily integrated with that. AI Foundry is living on Azure ecosystem, so it can do a lot more than just Office 365 things. Both uses conversational AI, but Copilot Studio also uses their own Microsoft own internal copilots, versus Azure AI or Foundry is more comprehensive solution. Copilot Studio is cost effective, and we're going to show you what it takes to build, what it costs to build. And Azure AI or Foundry is variable, depends on what you're doing, what resources on Azure you are using. Moving on. So we looked into a lot of videos online, and we didn't saw a complete solution right from what is Copilot Studio, how it works, and what is the pricing on it. So pricing is one element we thought we should tell you. So before we do, there are two different license types. One is a tenant license. I think it's about $200. We didn't include the cost here, maybe in the next screen. And you can assign free user licenses. So users can use it for free, and you just need one tenant license. There are some limitations. We can check it online on Microsoft links, and I'm happy to provide that. On Copilot for Office 365, when you buy Copilot license in your organization, you can build Copilot Studios for free. So then you don't need to buy a tenant license. But users who's going to consume it, they also either need to have Copilot for Office 365 or tenant license. So that's the catch in that licensing. Pricing, yeah, we did include it as 10 corrected. So licensing cost on tenant is about $200 per tenant per month. What that includes, it gets you about 25,000 messages. There is a way these messages is being used based on it, whether you're chatting with the bot or emailing or doing something else. Each message after consuming 25,000 messages will cost about 1 cent. So that's the overall pricing. Copilot Studio, if you sign it for a year, it costs you about $30 per user per month, or if it's per month basis, it's about this much. But it includes unlimited message. So imagine if you're a team of small developers or your IT team wants to use Copilot and Copilot Studio within their setup and practice, then you don't have to go for a tenant. But if you are really thinking organization wide, you may have to go for tenant. There is a third licensing scheme which we thought we keep it separate. You do not need to buy a tenant. You do not need to buy a Copilot license. You can simply, if you have Office 365, you can simply build Copilot Studio, and it will cost you 1 cent per message. Pretty standard. And here's an example of how the messages cost. So it's just getting a weather. It cost about 25 messages. Get reading a knowledge source, getting 30, and you can see for others. So you can see one app could cost pretty significant messages. So messages has value, and this is where the cost can get you. So it's better to do the costing before you start deploying organization wide. These are some of the features compared by license type. So there are some limitations. You can see Copilot without the tenant, the Copilot has some limitations. Again, I'm happy to provide Microsoft links on the details on these. The other differences you would see is right here, where when you publish Copilot agents, there are certain plugins which doesn't work, and Copilot Studio is mainly, if it is Office 365 Copilot, it's mainly on Office 365 experience, versus if you buy it by tenant, you can publish it on like SMS, emails, and several other places. So some basic differences out there. With that, I'm gonna hand it over to Pranav. Pranav, I think that you have a few slides, and then hang around for his demo on how this Copilot works together.
Yeah, let's get over the slides first.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so to show you the demo and get you a better feel of it, we designed a case study around which we made the demo. So there is a company, it has IT services, and the size of the company is 500 plus, and they have offices around 2 countries, and they have multiple offices, and the data volume, which is their emails, is 40 plus emails per day, and these are basic support emails such as different problems that they are facing in Office 365 or in SharePoint and all those things, which can be easily solved by like a lot of googling and things like that. But there are people involved, like support persons involved right now. Let's move on to the next slide.
Okay.
Yeah. So they were facing a lot of challenges like slow response times. So because manual labor is involved here, so the person had to check the emails, then find a solution, then reply. It takes a lot of times, and there are so many missed requests as the human resource is a lot less and the emails are a lot more. And there is no efficient tracking of the emails. The support people just get those emails and then reply to them. And if they miss any of the emails, it is not being tracked. And this resulted in so many frustrated users. The users were not getting the queries resolved, they were getting high wait times, and they were just not happy with the procedure. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so this is our solution. We created a AI-powered customer support agent, which can help us in email monitoring. It will provide you queries with AI-driven knowledge base. It will also manage the case with a case ID in SharePoint, and it will provide instant response and resolution, which will help users to um, be on their work and not be stuck in some kind of query. So it will streamline ticketing, enhance automation, and this will all be accurate as it will take data from your own AI-driven knowledge base. We can move on to the next slide. Okay, so this is a high level view of how our solution is working. So first, the user will ask for a query and he can ask it via web, via email, or via Teams. And then the query will go to LLM models. Then LLM model will go to the knowledge base. It will search for the knowledge, the answers in knowledge base, and then it will get back to the LLM and tell if the answer was found, and if it was not found, we can also include generative AI, which can automatically provide you with some answer based on his knowledge. And this will then go to SharePoint, make a case ID, and manage the whole case so that there is tracking and there is a total transparency for all the tickets that we have. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so these were the results. And before it was a long response time. As you can see, it was more than 24 hours because people would see the mails, reply, and if they have some issue or they are on leave or something, then the mail would be ignored. But here it's an AI and which does not take a leave, as you know. So it takes less than 2 minutes for response time, the case transparency, which was not at all there. Now we have 100% case transparency. And the user experience was a lot frustrating, but now it's happy. And the support team engagement, which was only to respond to the emails and not do anything more productive. Now they can work on real life problems and solve something and make company grow more. We can move on to the next slide. Yeah. So for the demo, for like current purposes, we'll just show you the email agent and we'll show you how it's working. We have two user flows, which you will see in the next slide.
Oh, actually, yeah. So you can talk through it when you
Yeah,
present. I'm gonna hand it over to you, Pranav.
yeah. So uh, we have two flows. I'll just share my
Share your
screen
screen.
and yeah, here you go. Okay, so we
Then
have
your screen. Yeah, go ahead.
two flows for the demo. One is the user flow, and second is the developer flow. The user flow will tell you how the user is seeing the solution and how are they benefiting from it. Then I'll move to a developer flow, which will help you to understand how you can create your Copilot on your own. So let's start with the user flow. And so for the user flow, I have two emails. One is my Gmail ID, which will act as a user who has the query. And second would be my Outlook ID, which is where the Copilot Studio or the agent will read my email and provide a resolution based on that. So as you can see, I'll explain my query a bit. So I'm unable to access SharePoint, and we have made a template like this, and this would help the AI not to hallucinate much and not ask different types of questions. So to make the process more consistent and standard, we recommend using some kind of template to ask for the AI. And so I've provided my name, I've provided my email, and my issue description is I am unable to access the SharePoint site from my department. And when I try to open it, it gives me this error. And user was good enough to provide us with the steps, the troubleshooting steps that they have already done. This would help our AI to understand at what part they are in and how can it help us.
And before
So,
you move on
mhm,
further, I just want to add, Pranav, one comment. We said Agentic AI is proactive, and the reason why it could be proactive is, let's say you would say, I don't want to send, or I would not send, or user will not follow this protocol, the template. They will simply send the issue, right? And they will not send anything. We could we could build our agent in such a way that it can read from Office 365 or the email headers, right? And if it doesn't find the information, it will go back and ask the user those specific information. So that is the thing where a human doesn't have to interact. An agent can go and interact and find the missing information. So that's an example of it. We have not built it for this purpose, but I just wanted to paint the picture. Go ahead, Pranav.
yeah, and the possibilities with AI are so much more, as you can imagine. So let's send the email, and now we'll wait for the response.
And where he's
Yeah,
waiting for that response, a human would get an email also. So here, if Pranav, let's say you are a human who's supporting your customers, did you get an email? Would you be able to show that?
yeah. So this is what is seen to an Copilot agent as well as to a human. So if the human wants to intervene and respond to the email, he can definitely do that. Or Copilot would go ahead and respond to the following email. So this is what the Copilot sees on my Outlook email. And now I'll show you what Copilot has responded.
And as you can see, it like within a matter of seconds, the responses went through by searching through the knowledge base and also internet if needed.
Yeah. So as you can see here, the Copilot has created a case ID, which has a certain logic to it, which I'll talk about it later. And it has provided a subject on its own. Then it has provided a body for the email, and it has provided resolution for us that we are receiving this error, and these are the few steps that we can do to resolve this issue. And if you need any assistance, we you can contact us again. And we have also included a thing where if the ticket is resolved and the customer says that it's resolved, it would be closed at our end. I'll now show you the SharePoint list where everything is managed. So as you can see, this is my case management SharePoint list, and the case ID with which we can refer, the status is in progress, these are the details, and these are the name and email. So now we have full transparency of all the cases that Copilot would be going through. And if we need, a human could intervene, and these issues could be escalated to a human agent. That's so clean and so fast, right? Now I'll show you how you can achieve this. Let's dive into the developer view. So first I'll give
Before you
you
go there, before
mhm.
you, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to add. So, Copilot Studio, as you can see, just like Power BI, Microsoft, other products, it's copilotstudio.microsoft.com. And it's sort of an independent product, but it is also using your Office 365 login environment on the left where you see PG. Pranav, you can highlight that, right? So, yeah, so it is using your Office environment, but it is an independent product by itself. This is where the pay-per-use licensing we were talking about, you can use it. And Pranav is about to showcase you how the developer would go in and build something. Go ahead, Pranav.
Yeah. So let's first start with an overview of Copilot Studio. So this is the home of Copilot Studio. You can see the agents that you have created and when it was published, the engaged sessions. This is a high level view. Here are some templates of the agents. If you don't want to create a new agent and want to use some of the ones which Microsoft have has already created for you, you can just select one of those and deploy in your environment. Now, if we go on to the agents part, we have so many agents created already. For the demo purposes, we have created this support agent. I'll deep down into it. Let's wait for it to load. Yeah. So this is how agent screen looks like. And you can add names, logo, and description to it. But the most important part for the agent is the instructions. So the instructions are something like a chat GPT prompt. You can understand it. You would tell what the agent would do and how would it achieve that. And first, let's go through some of the things. So when the mail comes in our mailbox, first the agent is triggered. You all might be wondering how would it be triggered? So here are some triggers which can help us understand how the agent would start working. So when an email arrives, I'll show you. It goes into the Power Automate flow. Some of you who might be comfortable with the Power Automate might know these parts. So when the email comes to my inbox, I move it to the test folder. And then from test folder, it scans my email and sends it to Copilot Studio to assess further. Then,
I wanna
mhm,
highlight one thing, Pranav, if you can go back to Power Automate.
yeah,
So during our deck presentation, we were saying that Copilot Studio lives within Office 365 environments, and this is the example. So it will make use of your Office 365 logins, Power Automate, which is also one of the no code feature within Microsoft environment. You could call it low code, but you don't have to. You can simply do it no code. And if people in the audience want to learn more about Power Automate, Pranav is the champion. We are happy to do another session just on Power Automate. But Power Automate is one of the tool which will let you build the workflows and can be attached to generative AI. So that's what Pranav is showing. Pranav, go ahead and
yeah.
take.
And the triggers could be many more than this. You could have a trigger, suppose an item is created in SharePoint list, or if you have some other mails, you can connect it to various places and you can ask Copilot to be triggered via various things. So after it is triggered, I'll cover the instructions part now in more detail. So I have asked the Copilot that it should first read the text and use the topics. So what is topics? I'll now move on to that. So topics are something which are triggered when it detects some of the user intent. For example, I'll go on to the topic. So as you can see, it has a topic called goodbye. So whenever the user will say bye or let's close the conversation and things like that, this topic would be activated and it would act accordingly. It would try to close the conversation on a happy note and make it memorable and things like that. So currently, for our current scenario, I have created a topic which will get all the information from user and it will map it to certain variables, and then it would create an email out of those, and then it would add the details to the SharePoint list. So let's start on the email part. So we received an email. Then I have checked if the case ID is present or not. If the case ID is not present, then I've assigned a temporary one-to-one value to the case ID. And then I'll be creating a new case ID. And the logic for creating a case ID is interesting. So I have taken the current date, time down to the seconds, and I've created that into a number. So it would mostly be unique in all the cases. We can even create a more unique case ID by adding some randomness to it. Then after a case ID is created, it add all the details into the SharePoint list, and then finally it will give you a message that thank you, your ticket was created. Now you guys might be wondering that this only creates the case ID and sends the message. Then how are we sending the mail to the person? So let's move on to that part. So this was the first instruction, that we will use this topic and add details to the SharePoint list. So for our second instruction, I told the Copilot agent that you should send an email using Office 365 Outlook connector, which is an action. So now you might be wondering, what's an action? So actions are some things which we can ask Copilot to do, and which has something external, like some external parts connected to it. So suppose in this case, the action is send an email via Office 365 Outlook. Let's deep dive into the actions part of it. So one good thing about AI is that we do not need to specify or manually map things there. As you can see, for the to field, it dynamically fills with the best option. So according to the prompt, the generative AI is automatically figuring out that whom we have to send the email, and then what should be the subject of that email, and what should be the body of that email. Now, there is a thing in about AI that it can hallucinate sometimes. So we want to be sure about the prompt, and we need to have a very crisp and very tight prompt. So to avoid those things, you can also map things here, and it would act as a flow. So it would check for the email, it would check for the issues, then it would send the email along with the case ID. And we can also add a tone to the email. For example, here I have mentioned that we have to format email in HTML and then respond in a professional manner. So the tone could be friendly, or it could have a certain formal aspect to it, and things like that. So then after that, it will show you the analytics, and most important part of this Copilot Studio is it has a knowledge base to it. So we can add our own knowledge base. Currently, we have provided a learn.microsoft link, which is a SharePoint site, and it's a public site. So currently we have provided that. So it goes to this website and it searches what are the problems that could occur. And
Pranav,
if,
can you go into knowledge because that's an important part?
yeah,
So not that one, but can you go back to the knowledge list, the different types of knowledge
yeah,
you can add,
yeah, sure.
and click on advanced, please. So as you can see here, these are the connectors Microsoft has published so far, and I'm guaranteeing it's going to grow. That's how they've done it on Power BI and other places. What I'm trying to highlight here is you don't have to have a Copilot studio to go out there and get the generative AI answer from the internet. You can base it off your own word, right? Like if you have Salesforce as an example, it will send the details from your Salesforce. It's a support system, let's say Salesforce or Zendesk or ServiceNow, and it can answer directly off of that. So you can extend your internal systems using Copilot Studio. If you have your data warehouses or databases on Azure SQL or cloud, you could do that. You can build your own Azure AI search, which will search your organization's internal content, whether it be SharePoint, Slack, or anything you name it. And that's how you can expand the knowledge base to the Copilot Studio. So this will be limitless. And if you go back to feature, the basic ones, Pranav, you can connect public sites. Now there's a catch on public sites. It only crawl up to 2 levels of the site because the sites could be very deep. But if your answers can be found in 2 levels deep on the public websites, it can get you that. SharePoint we found is the amazing tool. So one of the best way you can hack this and bring all your information as knowledge into SharePoint, PDFs, you name it. Or you can build your knowledge base into Dataverse, which is another component living in Office 365 family, along with Power App and Power Automate. So these are the ways you can build your Copilot studios and agents using Copilot Studio and expand your internal investment into enabling AI, enabling agentic AI on top of it. Pranav, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, these are some of the knowledge bases, and you can also add a custom file to it if you have some document which are confidential and which you don't want to get out. You can add here so that it would be used only internally by your own agent. And so now we have covered how would you create an agent, how would you provide instructions to it, how would it get triggered, and what knowledge bases would it use, and how will it send an email. So most important part of this is that how would you actually deploy it to Teams, web, or any part where you want. So that part would be covered by channels. So these are different type of channels where you can deploy the agent. So currently, we have deployed it to email, and you can also do it via to Teams. For example, you can add the agent to Teams channel or Teams chat, and then you can, just like you mention everyone else, you can mention the bot at the rate support bot, and then it would act in the same way that it's acting over the email, and it will provide you all the queries, and it would also create a case on the SharePoint list so that you can manage everything
Pranav, if
uh,
you
with
need
transparency.
1 second here. As you can see, there are many channels out there. There is a diamond icon on some of the channels where which you may have to buy. A good example is Twilio. So if you want to expand, let's say, your product marketing, product catalog, or something through SMS messages, you can use Twilio. You have to pay to Twilio per message basis, but you can expand it. You can also expand it to social media sites, Skype, Facebook, Telegram. I don't see Twitter here, but most of it is here. Or you can connect to your own custom application, either your mobile app, custom website, or a demo website. Even direct line speech underneath, right? So you can actually connect this to a phone call. So where a phone call, a customer is calling, it can receive that, it can go into your knowledge base, get the answer, and get them the solution on the phone itself. And if they are not satisfied, it will connect them to a real life person. So it makes things easier for you to extend to different channels and extend the AI using these channels. Pranav, go ahead.
Yeah. And then suppose if you want to deploy it to Teams, so you can click here, then it would ask you if where do you want to deploy it, and also if you want to make the agent available in Microsoft 365 Copilot. So this part is only limited for some licenses. This you cannot do if you are in a tenant license. So this is one thing that you need to take care of. And then you can see the availability options. You can download a zip file for your agent and then directly deploy it to the Microsoft Teams, and it would be seen by all the other people who are there with you. You can also go ahead and publish your agent. And so whenever you make a changes in the agent, it would be automatically published to all the channels that you have deployed the agent to. And it would make the version control much more seamless. Then you can go ahead and share the agent to uh, any of the other developer that are working on it, and this would make it a lot collaborative, and multiple people can collaborate and make the agent. And this is a testing window, as you can see. So here you can interact with the agent and ask it to do some of the things so that you can test the agent and make changes accordingly. So this, I hope we have covered everything in the Copilot Studio, and you can create your own agent now. It would be exciting for you to go and try out things here, and this would be it.
Thank you, Pranav. If you can come on camera.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It was a nice presentation. And for everyone, this was one of our first LinkedIn Live. There was a little bit of technology challenge that we had to learn through. I hope you are able to get some value. We are very open to get any feedback from you, learn and listen to you. And we thrive to build a community where we can really adopt AI rather than just keep talking about it and use it as a fancy term. And we appreciate if you name few topics that we could talk. Pranav and I to are planning to do this on a weekly or a bi-weekly basis, and we would love and appreciate your feedback. With
Yeah.
that, if you have any questions, put it on comments. We'll be happy to answer uh, through email, or we can have one-on-one connect. Let us know if you need our help. And Pranav, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, so we would love to hear thoughts about on this from everyone. We would love the feedback, and do tell us what type of agents have you tried and what are you thinking to make. And then also you can send me a email on the template that we showed you, and our agent would respond to you. So we can go ahead and do that. Yeah, that
Thank you,
would.
Pranav. Thank you. Have a great day, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye bye.